On this week's Political Figure episode, we've got the guy who's definitely qualified for anything and everything he does. Just ask him, he'll tell you. Just don't ask for references. Andy Ogles. Because apparently 3 wasn't enough, William Andrew Ogles IV was born June 18th, 1971. After graduating from Franklin High School in Franklin, Tennessee, he went to Western Kentucky University, but that didn't really work out. So then he went to Columbia State Community College, and then that didn't really work out. He then went to Middle Tennessee State University in 1995, where he failed all of his classes. And then he went again in 1998 and failed all of his classes again. He returned for another shot in 2007 and was finally able to graduate with an impressive 2.4 GPA and a degree in liberal studies, which is a made-up degree for people who never picked a major but managed to finally eke out enough credits to graduate. He also claimed to have studied political science and international relations and has told people that he is an economist, a qualification he apparently thinks he has due to the one economics class he passed with a C in college. He also claims to be an economist and subject matter expert on the economy because he worked for a little bit for the Laffer Center, which is a conservative tax policy lobby group where he did administrative work and didn't actually author anything while he worked there. So those qualifications are a laugher. By his standard of credentials to be considered an economist, if you've ever just read an article in the magazine The Economist, you're probably qualified to run the Federal Reserve. In addition to the Laffer Center, he also worked for the Americans for Prosperity, which is just another shitty lobby group. And I guess he also managed a restaurant or something. I don't know. It was probably a Chili's. I just feel like it would be a Chili's. He also claims he worked in law enforcement and worked specifically on international sex crimes and child trafficking. Turns out in reality, he was just a volunteer reserve deputy who got fired from being a volunteer reserve deputy because he failed his training and couldn't meet minimum standards. He also apparently never showed up to meetings and stuff. And the Williams County Sheriff's Office said they have absolutely no records of him ever working on anything related to international sex trafficking. So after Andy got fired from being a make-believe super trooper, he went to work for Abolition International, which is a nonprofit that gives money to holistic ministries, whatever the fuck that means. Where once again, he also claims that he was involved in fighting international sex trafficking and stuff, and said he was responsible for managing and overseeing operations and investments in 12 countries. Abolition International's tax records show that he was in a paid part-time position where he earned a whopping $4,000. Clearly a high-powered, influential overseer of stuff and things. Ogles would ogle some state, house, and senate seats in his early bids to get into politics, but he lost both of those campaigns because he sucks. He was finally able to win his first elected seat as the mayor of Maury County in 2018. During his campaign, he billed himself as a Maury County native. Just never mind the fact that he's from Williamson County. He went to Franklin High School in Williamson County. He failed at being a volunteer super-duper junior trooper for the Williamson County Police Department. Anyway, after becoming mayor of Maury, he got to work on the pressing matters, like crying about the governor's mask mandates and vocally advocating for sales tax hikes. Because while his positions on tax policy are that rich people shouldn't have to pay any, he knows that those damn poors need to pick up the slack. And just pay a little extra for all those goods and services they need to survive. After all, the wealthy needs that money they would have been spending on taxes. Have you ever filled up a private jet? It's expensive. He also vetoed the county's budget along with the school and library budgets for his county, all because he was mad about the first property tax increase in 6 years. But to be fair, I don't know where the poor property owners in Maury County were going to come up with the cash to cover the whopping 31-cent property tax hike. 31 cents. However, the county, pissed off that he never showed up to any of the budget meetings for the budget he suddenly took issue with, overrode his veto. The Maury County property owners are going to have to tighten their belt. Guess they're just going to have to forgo that gumball from the little quarter machine at the corner store that still has candy in it from 1996. What a way to live. He also claims to hate libraries and veto their budgets because they're exposing children to woke material. Personally, I think he just finds books scary, in part because he can't read. I mean, I'd assume, 2.4 GPA and all. But whatever makes him feel better. So about this same time, Tennessee gerrymandered the fuck out of their state and turned once solidly blue Nashville into 3 new congressional districts that were basically unwinnable by a Democrat. So after saying he was going to run again for mayor, he ditched that plan and went and ran for Congress. While running for office, he was campaigning with a flamethrower, because why not? He said he was going to use it on Joe Biden's work when he got to Washington, because he's just so witty. He also refused to participate in any debates during the campaign. I'd assume because it's harder to lie when somebody with above room temperature IQ calls you out in real time. but he won nonetheless, because, gerrymandering. After winning the seat in 2022, one of the very first things he did was author the Inflation Reduction Act of 2023, which sole purpose was to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. He also joined his party's terror cell in bombing Kevin McCarthy's speakership election repeatedly. Other policy platforms is thoughts and prayers, but also because he has no personality, his Christmas cards usually involve his family posing with ARs. And don't get me wrong, I'm a gun person, but nobody likes that kind of gun person. He's a big fan of outright abortion bans without exceptions for anything. He says they're, quote, red herring. And after cheering for Roe getting overturned, he said the next thing we need to go after is gay marriage. Because, I guess being a bigot is like Pokemon. You gotta hate them all. Wait, no, it's catch them all. He probably wants to do that too. He wants to deregulate healthcare, set up voucher programs for school, cut taxes on the rich, all the greatest hits. He also blames Obamacare for his wife having a stillborn child in 2014. So after that, he started a GoFundMe to raise money to make a child cemetery in his stillborn child's honor. He raised $25,000 for that, and 8 years later, we don't know where that money is. We do know he didn't bury it in a child cemetery, though, because he never actually did that. And while doing my research for this, I just noticed that he recently tweeted, or X'd. Elon, what the fuck do you call the shit they do on your stupid site now? Anyway, he twixt a twat saying that pro-terror Palestinian sympathizers are murdering Jewish people in the streets of America. Which is not a great take, I would say. But, certainly seems on brand, I guess. But that's kind of where we're at since he's only been in Congress for like a year. And the cool thing is that House representatives are up for election every 2 years. So 2024, Tennessee, you can get rid of it. Please get rid of it. We don't like it. Nobody likes it. Thanks.